what is the ideal layout for a kitchen? This is a pretty good one, and this gets asked quite a bit. I think personally an L shape with an island is a really great functional layout. And so if that's the type of layout you have, then maybe you have the ideal kitchen layout. The ideal kitchen layout, however, really is the layout that really allows you to function the best in your space. You want to make sure that the kitchen is ideal for you, not something you just pull out of the air and say, here it is. How do you work in that kitchen? Create a layout that suits how you want to function in that space. How much counter space do I need? The more counter space, I think the better is generally a good idea. They say for a landing area and work surface, you want to have at least 36 inches of prep area in a kitchen. That's not that difficult to get in most kitchens. It's not that you don't have enough counter space, it's that it's so cluttered because you don't have enough storage, or maybe just too much stuff and it's not put anywhere, so it's on top of countertops. And then you don't have enough counter space because it's all filled up with other things. If you just have so much clutter that you don't have any room, then it's hard to complain about how much counter space you don't have. Someone else might only need a little bit because they don't do a lot of prep. Maybe they live alone, or there's maybe just two people, where maybe you're a family of 4, 5, or 6, and maybe you have kids in school, you're doing lunches. You might need a different amount of countertop to do something. So the kitchen works differently for different families, for different individuals. There's definitely nothing wrong with getting as much counter space as possible, but just watch that clutter issue. What are the standard dimensions for kitchen cabinets? These are interesting questions. Like, the standard dimensions for kitchen cabinets are 3-inch increments, starting at normally 9 inches wide, going to 36, 42, 48. Once you get past 48, once you get past 42 or 39, then usually you're looking at like 2 cabinets. So if you go to any stock lineup of cabinets, if you go to IKEA, if you go to any big box store, even if you go to a customized cabinet shop, they would all be in 3-inch increments, normally starting at 9 inches. Now, of course, you can get a variety of sizes when you go custom, but that would be the standard dimensions for cabinets. Now, in height, usually a wall cabinet is either 30, 36, could be 40, and then it really depends on the height of the ceiling and customization. But if you're going into a big box store, you're going to find that cabinets are 30 inches high and then those 3-inch increments. When it comes to base cabinets, same rule applies. The height's generally 34.5, 34.75, depending on the toe kick space. Corner bases are usually 36 by 36. IKEA has 38s. I don't know why they do that. Or blind corner cabinets could be 42, 45, 48s. Yeah. There you go. What types of kitchen appliances should I consider? You should consider ones that work. You should consider ones that fit into the space correctly. You should consider appliances that really do the job that you need them to do. Some people really advocate for professional appliances because you get really good appliances. They last a long time. Some people really don't advocate for that. I don't know if advocate's the right word, but don't really push those things. Kind of regular run of the mill, Whirlpool and Samsung appliances will do the trick. It really depends on the person. I would say that it's a good idea that those appliance specs get to your kitchen designer so that you can plan out how those appliances fit into the layout, because that's really the important thing. That's what I would consider more than even what types that you need. And this is a great question. How can I maximize storage in a small kitchen? The first thing you can do is declutter. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's definitely something that should be considered when you start talking about maximizing storage. Get rid of some of the crud that you don't need. Making sure you have full extension drawers and pullouts. If you have full extension pullouts that you can access the whole drawer, you use more of it because you see more of it. So if you can pull the whole thing out, you see everything, there's less waste, and so there's less of a tendency to stack everything in the front load the drawer, basically. So you can pull everything out and really maximize the space. So that's something you can do in a smaller kitchen, or in every kitchen. In a smaller kitchen, it's also good to find ways where you can add shallow storage. I talk about this a lot. You don't have room for something full depth, but there might be a wall or an area where you can incorporate some more shallow storage. And that could be something that's very, very useful in a smaller kitchen. You can always go vertical. This is height dependent on the ceiling and maybe the person and how comfortable you are with step stools and where you're going to store those things. But going vertical is a way to be able to store more things in a smaller kitchen, because that's the only way you can go. If you can't go out, you might have to go up. Toe kick drawers might be an option. They're not the best thing for everything, but they can store some things, and that could be something to consider. Really maximizing the corner cabinet to make it as usable and user-friendly as possible is something you should definitely consider if you have one in a small kitchen. Even though I prefer blocking them off, even in small kitchens, that's something you really need to work through. There's no point having a corner cabinet that you can't really access everything really well. You can store things in your microwave and in your stove and your oven and in your dishwasher. People do that all the time. That's where they store certain things. If you have to, go that way. What is the recommended height for kitchen countertops? Countertop height standardly is 36 inches from the finished floor. Like that's the top of the surface. And that's pretty much run of the mill everywhere you go. What's recommended for you might be different. You need something that's higher or lower. That can be done. Like I said before, you don't want to have everything lowered or heightened. Just because of the appliance issue, that might not be the best case. But in an ultra customized kitchen design, you could have everything raised or lowered. And I recommend you do have a section raised or lowered if you need to be. That's certainly something that's doable. What are some popular kitchen countertop materials? Quartz would be the most popular, followed by some kind of natural stone like granite, quartzite, soapstones becoming more popular. There's lots of other materials out there. We chat about them. I have videos on all kinds of them. Corian used to be in that list. I think quartzite, which would be a natural stone, is becoming more popular. Marble is not that popular for kitchens still, though it's so beautiful. And then you have the ultra compacts like Decton and Neolith and porcelain, stuff like that. Laminate is very popular. It's very inexpensive. And like it or lump it, it's very easy and quick to get, not difficult to install. You got butcher block, that's not very popular. Stainless, that's not super popular. Cement concrete countertops aren't very popular. They're all out there and people love them, but the popular ones, you know what they are. How do I choose the right kitchen sink? Ooh, fabulous question. The way you choose the right kitchen sink depends on the size of your kitchen, depends on the size of your sink base. If you're asking me, I'm going to tell you that you should just get a large single, the largest single you can, or a workstation sink. That's the right sink. So, end of question. Not spending any more time on the sink one. What lighting options work best for a kitchen? You want to have under counter lighting. You want to have task purposes. You want to have LEDs. We talked about this before. LEDs, I think, dimmables would be good. Pendants, maybe. Something over your sink would be nice. I like to have my pot lights so that when I open up, say, my pantry, and I pull out a pullout, that there's a light shining on the pullout when it's pulled out, and the same with my drawers and stuff like that. That's something to consider. You want to make sure you're not casting a shadow on yourself when you're standing in front of the kitchen. So placement's also important, not just the type of lights, but where they're placed in the ceiling or underneath the cabinets or wherever is also important. So I guess make sure you do speak with a designer or a lighting specialist, or maybe an electrician, when you're planning out your lighting to make sure that the locations of those lights are where you need them to be. Should I incorporate an island or a peninsula into my kitchen design? I would say yes. You should definitely incorporate an island if you can fit an island, or peninsula if that works better for you. But I have said it before and I'll say it now too. Don't force it if it's too small and you just can't fit it in there. So if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Try to incorporate an island if you have room for it. Why wouldn't you? Why have all this space in your kitchen that is not being used for anything? So you might as well put a cabinet there. So I would say, yeah, that's definitely kind of a no-brainer in most scenarios. Now, whether or not it's an island or a peninsula, that's very design specific. I'm generally a fan of an island because I think it creates better flow for the kitchen, but a peninsula sometimes is just the best option depending on the size of the space. So that's good too. Both have their pros and cons, with islands having more pros than cons, in my opinion. I take hydration very seriously, and in order to stay hydrated, the WaterH water bottle really helps me get my daily goals by reminding me through the app when I should be drinking water, how much water I have been drinking, and gives me a goal based on my weight, my age, and my activity levels. Now, WaterH sent me this bottle for free in exchange for me to review it and give my honest opinion about it. I've been using it now for almost a steady 2 weeks, and I have to say that I really do enjoy it, and I think it's absolutely something that I would purchase if I was looking for something like a smart water bottle. If you need something to track your hydration, or you like to see reminders visually, this is definitely something you should be investing in. The bottle is really well constructed. There's a couple different lid options you can get, a few different color options. The shipping is free within the United States and Canada, and I got mine within a week. Built-in sensor that tells you how many total dissolved solids are in your water, so to make sure that you're not only getting a quantity of water, but a good quality of water as well. There's a link in the description below where you can get your own WaterH water bottle and a 10% discount if you use my code MarkTobin10 at the time of purchase. Here's a quick look at the app. You can see my goal is 105 fluid ounces of water, and so far today I've drinking 46. And the cool thing is that the little blue water line raises the more water that you drink. It's a great visual reminder that you can use to track your water intake. I highly recommend you check it out. If you want a super high-end quality smart water bottle, this is definitely the way you should be going.